Okay, so the next thing I want to show is annotating through Microsoft Edge. So across the bottom here, this is automatically pinned. So unless you unpinned it, there should be the blue E. So Microsoft Edge is the updated version. It's the adult version of Internet Explorer. So it has just been upgraded. All of our computers come with that, and it has a really great annotating feature built directly into it. What I often do is open up PDFs into there. So I'm going to walk through the steps of what I did. So I pulled in this annotations agenda. So if you have a PDF that you saved from elsewhere, or if you have a worksheet that you wanted to kind of work through the problems, but you want to be able to write out the answers, you could create like the beginning of the worksheet here in a Google Doc. And then what I do is file, download as a PDF. And once again, I put it on my desktop because that's easy access for me, especially right now with our M drives being offline. It's an easy spot to access, and then I can move it to my Google Drive later on if I need it. So I'm going to minimize my screen. And you'll notice I've got a bunch of other PDFs that I have been working on. So I have my annotations agenda here. So when I open it, I know mine opens up in Edge because I've had it set that way. But if yours opens in Chrome, what you can do is a right click and come up to Open With, and then you can choose Edge. So one thing I want to quick share with everyone, if you're trying to print at home, I'm assuming it's the same as when we're at school, but when we've been trying to print a PDF, if you open it in Edge, it does not want to print. Like it just gets stuck and hung up in the printing. So if I have this PDF and I want to print it while I'm here at home, I would want to come in here, right click, and tell it to open with Chrome, and then I could print it there. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Okay. So I'm going to choose Microsoft Edge, and I'm going to show a couple different things with Edge once we're here. So it opens up this PDF here. Now, what's nice is I can scroll. So if I had stuff all the way at the bottom of my document, I would be able to see everything that's on the bottom. Now, why that's important is because some of you might be thinking, oh, great, I'll just open up Google Drive. You know, I'll start a new tab. I'm going to go to Google Drive. I'll just pull up all of my documents, and then I'll start writing on top of them. Unfortunately, Google and Edge don't talk nice to each other. So when you do go to it, and I don't know if I'm logged in. Oh, I'm not logged in. When you do go to it, though, it's only going to capture what's on your screen. As opposed to when I'm in a PDF, it allows me to see all the way to the bottom of that PDF. So if I had a PDF that was multiple pages long, I would be able to see all of my PDFs, and I could annotate on top of all of them. So what do I mean by annotating on top of this PDF? So I have some different choices here, and it knows right away that I might want to add notes. But across, right next to the URL bar, once again, we have that pen icon with this squiggle. So when I click on that, I'm going to get a couple of tools. Edge tools are, I mean, they're limited. You only have a ballpoint pen, which you can choose color as well as your size. And there is also the highlighting tool. So right now I am on highlighting, and I am going to use my stylus. There it goes. I was being kind of cranky. So my highlighter will let me highlight multiple spots. It does not let you highlight like a single letter. You do have to do a whole line, or like a whole word, I'm sorry. Ooh, although it cut out my edge there. All right, so the highlighting one is nice, like as you're going through and talking about it, you know, if you want to pull your attention, or if you just want to really highlight, you know, the certain parts that you're going over so that students see what you're talking about. So if you're videoing this, you know, as you get to, okay, here we're talking about Microsoft Edge. Now we're talking OneNote. You do also have color options, but they're pretty limited for the colors for your highlighting. With my pen option, now this is where if this was, question 1, if I needed them to solve a problem, if I'm going so I could go through and do all my annotating on here. If I had a paragraph that I want the kids and we're going through and talking about it, what does it look like to edit to do some editing of your rough, draft? Okay, I want to make sure that this here is capitalized. Oh, this here, that should be a paragraph. So I can go through and walk students through what it would look like for me with a paragraph that I've typed, what I'm going to do as I want to go through and edit this, work on my rough draft. The one thing to be cautious with is, and at least this is my experience with it, is that even though I have this save and save as option, it still saves it to the original one. So I'm going to do a save as. Let's see if it pulls it up. This is where it was being slow today. And let's see if it'll. Probably now while I'm showing all of you this, I'm sure it's going to do something different for me today. So I'm going to close out of Edge. I'm going to tell it to close all. So I do have this annotations agenda. Oh, sorry, let me explain that again. So even though I did a save as, it put it on my annotations agenda PDF. So if you have the original document, I would recommend making a copy of it, saving it as a new name that you would want to put it in a spot here that you could then edit so that your original document does not have the writing on it. So that's something that I find really frustrating because to me, I should have a save and then a save as, but it automatically saves to it. So just as a caution to all of you. It also lets you do, if you had a web page, so let's say I want the kids to come to this website and I click on my pen icon to add notes. If you are in Edge, it will let you scroll down within the web page. So if I wanted the kids to see, so I could be, as I'm recording my lesson and we're talking through this website and I'm okay, you'll want to make sure you really go to this page here because that's going to be really helpful for your research. Then you'll want to scroll down. Make sure you pay attention to our calendar so that you know what's happening. I can keep scrolling. So if I was videotaping this and I can say, and don't forget at the very bottom, this is how you'll be able to contact us. So that's another nice thing with the Edge annotating feature is that if I'm on a website, it allows me to get all of the pages. Now, if you have a webpage that has a scrolling banner like this one does, if there's a certain picture you want, you obviously want to wait until that picture is up on your screen prior to clicking the little pencil icon. So if I didn't want the free breakfast and lunch one, I'm going to say, no, I don't want to save. It's going to reload the page, go through, and maybe this is the screen that I want. And so now it will have this picture. So if there's anything with those, the other thing to be cautious of is depending on what website you're using, if there's any ads, being cautious about what ads are on there so that you can save that. If you do have, if you just wanted to do a screenshot of this, as you saw before, once I started doing some editing, when I go to X out, I can also have the option to save this as a web note, and then it would save in my reading list. I could also send it to OneNote, which is something that I'm going to be talking about in a few minutes. This web note saves in your favorites bar. So I'm going to say no. And I don't, so I obviously don't have to do this anymore since I'm not traveling. But when I did travel and I had to submit a mileage report, this was also a way that instead of printing out a piece of paper, signing my name, and then sending it to my supervisor, or if I have to fax something, or if I receive a document, I have to sign it and send it back to someone. I don't have to print and then try and scan it. If I can save it as a PDF, and I don't think I have one saved on here. I don't. But if I can save it as a PDF, it's nice because then I can just come in here, find the line. Yeah, oh, gotta make sure I click on my pen, otherwise it doesn't work. I can sign my name and then I can send it off. So if any of you had to cancel any type of field trips, you know, if you have to sign anything to prove that you got it, you know, if you're signing any type of paperwork. So there was something for taxes. I don't remember what it was. I needed to sign my name for something. Pulled it up through here, signed my name, saved it, and sent it right back to them without having to do any type of printing whatsoever. The thing that makes me sad, though, is that they don't talk nice with Google. Whatever's on my screen for Google, like I was saying before, that's all I would get. So if this was my whole document, anything below here, I wouldn't be able to access. So one day, maybe everything will play nice together, but at this time, that does not happen. It's underneath the 3 dots when you're in Chrome. You come down into start typing in download, and then you have this option here for downloads. And so if you always know, hey, I just always wanted to go into my downloads, you could leave it there. If you have this toggle off, then it will just drop it into your downloads without asking you where to go. Toggle is lit up blue, then you can choose where it saves before it actually downloads it. Corey, thank you for that.